Okay, Assalamualaikum and good day to Dr. Rasidah. Today our group will present about research proposal which is job insecurity impacts depressions among airlines employees during COVID-19. Okay, before we start, I would like to introduce my group members. Okay, myself, Muhammad Nasrul Hadi, then Nazeehah Binti Badri, Hadi Saadan Muhammad Senin, and also Mohamed Nuruddin Zanky. For introductions, pandemic because of coronavirus or COVID-19 is the biggest global social and economic crisis of the last few generations, according to the World Bank 2020. This event has brought impact on the economy and workplace. It triggers widespread concerns and economic hardship for consumer companies and societies around the globe. According to US Census Bureau 2020 explained that COVID-19 gave an impact on anxiety and depressions in the US. One of the evidence the impact of COVID-19 was marked increased unemployment in America in February 2020 recorded by 3.5% and increase in November 2020 by 6.7%. Okay. Besides that, this pandemic also impact on depressions. Explain that COVID-19 gave impact on anxiety and depressions in the US. In Malaysia, the Visit Malaysia 2020 campaign that aimed to attract the visitors, 30 million visitors arrival have been cancelled due to COVID-19 crisis. The tourism industry of Malaysia is a major source of foreign exchange in national economy. The tourism contributes to more than 50% of export trade in service. Approximately 27 million tourists visit Malaysia annually. From travel restrictions to flight cancellation, the airline industry has been the hardest hit industry during the COVID-19 pandemic. Airline companies nationwide have been forced to halt their operations and ground large parts of their fleets. For example, Malaysia Airlines had introduced salary cut and offered unpaid leave for over 13,000 of its employees. Is now undergoing an urgent restructuring exercise to ensure its survival. And also AirAsia suffered net loss of 992 million in the second quarter as compared to net profit of previous year for the same quarter 17 million profit. This stressor can lead to psychological strain such as anxiety or existential fears, which in turn might negatively affect crew's ability to safely exercise the privilege of their license. Based on this explanation, our research will prove empirical research that explain the relationship between economy, our concerns are job insecurity and financial concern, and stress, anxiety, and also depressions. Okay, background of this study. In December 2019, in Wuhan, China, a cluster of cases of phenomena was reported by Wuhan Principal Health Commissions. Actually, that was the first detections of the recent novel coronavirus, or widely known as COVID-19. And since then, the number keep increasing every day. Financially big corporate organizations to small, medium enterprise families to individual, everyone in the world has been suffering due to pandemic outbreak. Today, it has become a worldwide issue that it has affected many sectors in the world, from health to economy. Business have halted their operation and the price of the oil market has reached negative. As the nation continues to deal with this COVID-19 pandemic, for those who live pay to paycheck, earn low wages or suffer depressions are rarely affected. Therefore, the whole world is facing financial difficulties and the country is facing economic problem, including Malaysia. Visit Malaysia 2020 campaign was really affected. Okay, the outbreak of COVID-19 has exposed a major risk to Visit Malaysia campaign, as 50% of Malaysia tourists are originated from Singapore and China. Okay, and then for problem statement, the increasing cases of COVID-19 in both countries has led to the cancellation of many tours, which has already led to a large drop in number of tourists to Malaysia. Li Pengfu 2020. As reported by New States Times on 9 October 2020, low-cost airline companies AirAsia Berhad and AirAsia X Berhad have confirmed the retrenchments of 10% of their 24,000 employees. Due to this effect, we will study the implications of tourism industry by looking into the level of depressions among employees of tourism industry or airline industry. The study will look at the relation between job insecurity due to COVID-19 and financial concern related with mental health or distress. Okay, and then we found few gaps from previous literature. Previous study are mostly done involving the frontliners and employees working in the healthcare sector. There are not much on other sectors. Okay, Moratori and Guilford 2020. And then little previous research relate psychological implication of job insecurity during pandemic, Wilson et al. 2020, and little literature on financial stress. Families' financial stress minimum emphasize on economic environment and by extension the economic. Okay, by Fredline 2014, Lai 2011, and so on. Based on this review, there is a gap for researchers to study the level of depressions, anxiety, and stress of employees in different sectors. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Nazeehah and I'm going to continue this presentation. Okay, for the research questions, there are two research questions that we want to answer. The first one, what is the relationship between job insecurity and depression? And the second one, does financial concern as a mediating variable affect the relationship between job insecurity and depression? For the research objectives, there are two research objectives that have been formulated for the purpose of this study. The first one, to examine the relationship between job insecurity and level of depression, and to analyze the role of financial concern as mediating factor on the relationship between job insecurity and depression. So these RQ and RO are in line with the conceptual framework that will be of this presentation. Next, for this study, there are three underpinning theories that we incorporated in our conceptual framework. The first one is social exchange theory that was developed by George Homans in 1961, which later on further explained by Birch et al. 2006. That in the relationship of employer and employee, the employee will be satisfied when he or she perceives that their needs are fulfilled. The set was developed by Hill in 1949, and as parents, during this pandemic, they will feel overwhelmed by the pressure and may feel depressed and will impact on their work performance. And the last one, this study uses the DASS model, which has been used globally and has shown to be a valid measurement in terms of evaluating depression. So that's all from my part, and I pass this presentation to the next presenter. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Mohamed Nuruddin Zanky. I am going to continue presentation. In this slide, I will explain theoretical framework it's used in this study. How do the theories implemented in this study? As previous presenter said, we will use three theories. These are social exchange theory, family stress theory, and DASS model or depressive anxiety and stress scale model. Based on social exchange theory, the people who give much to others will try to get much from them, and people who get much from others are under pressure to give much to them. According to Kropanzano and Mitchell 2005, this theory also often implemented in economic transaction by analyzing cost-benefit. Cost can be time, money, effort, and so on. Meanwhile, benefit can be sense of acceptance, support, and companionship, and so on. In the study, we will use social exchange theory to explain the effect of job insecurity on financial consent and job insecurity on depression. If the people work in job insecurity, does it will effect on financial consent and does it will effect on depression? Family stress theory defines and explores the acute stressor that happen to all families. The stressor in this research is financial consent. If a family faces a financial consent, it will impact the level of depression of the family. And finally, depressive anxiety and stress scale model, or the ASS model, will be used to measure the depression level of respondent that affected by insecurity, by job insecurity, and financial consent. The ASS model has been widely used as a tool to measure psychological parameters in studies in Malaysia. Ramli M. 2012. The next is research framework. In this study, we have three variables that are job insecurity, financial consent, and depression. Job insecurity as an independent variable, financial concern as a mediator variable, and depression as a dependent variable. Job insecurity is a stressful experience associated with the distress and negative feelings. Indicators of job insecurity in this research are job uncertainty, the worry over job continuity, and the probability of job-related change. And then financial concern means that the proposed use within the territory proposed to be next don't have the capacity to provide sufficient taxes, fees, charges, including connection fees, if any, to pay for the full cost of providing services, including capital costs. Depression refer to the psychological disorders as a syndrome of behavior with destructive consequence for people well-being and which hinder the normal development of daily function. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, Prof. I'm Saadan. I would like to present about our methodology, questionnaire proposal, and finally the conclusion. Our research is applied research and positivist, and it is a quantitative. Quantitative research is a research that focuses on quantifying the collection and analysis data. Quantitative research is formed from a deductive approach where emphasis is placed on the testing of theory and positivist philosophies. Quantitative study is a formal, objective, and systematic process in which numerical data and used to obtain information about any subject. Quantitative research design can help the researcher to describe and test relationship and examine the cause and effect between variables. The strategy will be used in this study is a survey design. From sample result, the researcher generalize or make claims about the population. The population of this study consists of the tourism industry employee, focusing in the airline industry. The industry is located in Malaysia. Researchers choose this population because this industry is among the worst affected during COVID-19. The sample of this study was selected using purposive sampling. A researcher will go to the counter or office of the airlines in Kuala Lumpur International Airport to meet dedicated officer and ask them to distribute online. Distribute online the questionnaire form to the employees of airline company. Based on the population in the study, our minimum sampling size is around 379, and we adapted by tables sample from Umar Sekaran and Krishi Morgan. Our research location, the research will be conducted in the Kuala Lumpur International Airport, and then the type of data collection that will be used in this research is primary data, and the primary data will be collected to a survey administered by the researcher and by online survey. The survey will use both closed-ended question and linked scale format. PLS SAM will be used that will enable the relationship to be analyzed simultaneously. Since there is a mediating factor between dependent and independent variables, this method of analysis will be the most appropriate in this study. For hypothesis testing, as for method for analysis, descriptive analysis and other procedure will be used in this study. By analyzing the result from the questionnaire, the researcher may obtain and compare the observed value with critical value in determining whether to reject or to accept the null hypothesis. A pilot test prior to the actual data collection. A pilot study will be conducted with a group of potential respondents to test the instrument's validity and reliability. The main objective of validity and reliability test is to ensure the instrument used are accurate and consistent with the topic being studied. And then for questionnaire proposals, we have created 3 sections to answer our research question and objectives and our research objective. Section A is job insecurity, section B is financial concern, and finally section C is depression level. Total items in this questionnaire is 38 questions, consists of job insecurity 5 items, financial concerns 12 items, and depression 22 items. All items adapted from past literature. Job insecurity we adopted from Ashford et al., and financial concern we adapted from Wilson, and finally depression level we adapted from Ramley et al. For the conclusions, the pandemic has caused many social and economic effects, not only to the economy of countries that were affected, but more importantly, to the individual or household that may become a major issue in the social aspects. Researchers hope this research contribute thoughts in explaining stress factors during a pandemic. Thank you.